Hi, everybody. Just wanted to welcome you back to another show on Elaine's gardening and cooking show. And the title of this show is Time to Spruce Up the Soil. Yep, we're February the 1st today, so every day we're getting closer and closer to spring. Thank God for that. Anyway, there are some things that you need to do with your soil that you've been growing in last year to get it ready for this year. Not as hard as it sounds. I know I have a side bed out here that I have to refurbish completely. Its soil was pretty spent last year, so I'm going to refurbish that and turn it into new raised beds this spring. But there are some things that I have to add to it in order to get it up to peak efficiency so it'll grow well this year. And some of the things that I'll be adding to it be that's for containers. Will be, of course, manure, the composted manure. And then this, sphagnum moss. It works great. It's an excellent material to help lighten the soil. Seeding mixes, it lightens that. It promotes strong root growth and development. It does a very good job. I also have, vermiculite. That's good as well. And it will help to lighten your soil as well. It helps to hold moisture in, builds it up, gives it the nutrients that it requires. And of course, to say nothing of, earthworm castings. I don't know if you can see that in this light. It might be too bright. But anyway, earthworm castings. Literally all this is earthworm doo-doo. To keep things polite on the air, but that's all it is. But it does wonders for your garden. It really enriches your soil and also it really helps because earthworm castings quite often will contain earthworm eggs. So you'll have more earthworms in your garden if you use the earthworm casting. It helps considerably. Okay, now what else do we have here? Okay, these are for your little containers. This is just seed starting soil. And it contains enough nutrition to start your baby seeds off. Put out by Miracle-Gro. It's a very good product. It's natural. It's not loaded with chemicals and all this fun stuff. Now, speaking of starting off seeds, I have these little trays. These trays are large enough that they will hold 72 Jiffy pellets. And the Jiffy pellets are simple little things. They're just a little pellet that you soak with water. You put the side with the hole, you put that facing up. You put that in your container. You pour water in your container, and these guys will puff up to about 7 times their size, and they contain enough nutrients to start new plants off as well. So they're great. Now with this tray that I have, this one that I showed you has no holes. So it will hold water. This fellow that I've got to put my little peat pots and some pellets in, these do have holes. They have holes in the bottom that will allow you to water your plants from underneath, so you don't hit your foliage and you don't run the risk of introducing molds and things like that. Okay, now for your potted plants, we also have, yes, sphagnum moss again. Darn good stuff. It does loosen your soil, it aerates it, and it does a really good job of providing the nutrition that your soil needs during the growing season. We also have, excuse me for bending down here, but I've got to bend down to grab it, perlite. And again, Miracle-Gro puts this out. This is really good stuff. It's just a white, kind of a fluffy type material. It's non-toxic. It's sterile. It's odorless. It helps to prevent soil compaction in containers. So it keeps your soil moist. It helps to retain your moisture. So when you're using this, make sure that you close your bag again. Don't just leave it open and dig out as you need it, because if you leave it open, you're going to lose a lot of the moisture that is contained in the perlite beads already. Okay. Last but not least, we have vermiculite. It's a microaceous mineral that's lightweight, it's clean, it's odorless. It has physical properties for improving soil condition, and it also aerates it, maintains moisture and nutrient quality, and when mixed with peat, it helps to promote faster plant root growth. So this is a good thing to have. Okay, this was a very brief show, I know. It doesn't take long for these little shows, especially the ones inside. The ones that I do outside are going to be longer. So just to warn you in advance. These little guys are just peat pots. And they are the handiest little thing. You just put your starter mix in those. Put your seeds in. You know, put them in your trays like the ones that I showed you. In the greenhouse, they're fantastic because you don't need to use the mini greenhouse top on them. And they do a great job. They really grow quickly. Just make sure, though, that you do keep them watered. And whenever you can possibly make sure you do, water from below. Now, if you have this filled, if you can lift one out and water through the hole that's in this one you've lifted out, that's fine. Although I must admit, these peat pots do tend to get a little soggy. When they get wet, they will get soggy. So you might not be able to lift them out. So what you might do is sacrifice one hole here and just plant in all the others and leave this one as a watering space. And that way, your plants will still be able to absorb the water from underneath. Okay, well, as I said, it's February the 1st. We're getting closer and closer every day to spring. I am so delighted to see that, believe me. I am itching to get out of that garden. I'm itching to get working on the refurbishing of the side bed. Itching to get planting in the new raised beds. They're all ready to go. And I've got a little blackboard here. I've got a list of to-dos. I've got to put the holes in my buckets, the containers that I'm going to grow some things in. I got to build the reclamation box. The ones that gave me that idea were Hollis and Nancy's homestead. He built a great reclamation box. And the reclamation box, what it does, you put your spent soil from your containers in it, and then you can refurbish that, let it sit over the winter, and then next year, it's viable soil again, and you can use it again. So, just bear with me for 1 sec, please. Also, yes, I've got a pond out there. And I want to refurbish the pond and get it in operation again. There's nothing nicer on a hot summer day than that refreshing sound and relaxing sound of running water. A pond is one of the nicest things, I think. In fact, I built this pond the first year that I moved here, and I've been here for 14 years. But for the past few summers, it's been lying fallow because we really haven't been able to do much out in the backyard. So I haven't bothered with it, but I will now. Now, the winter garden room. Yes, I have a back room. It's called a summer room. I don't usually use it because, like for a summer room, for the simple reason I'm outside. So what I'm planning on doing is refurbishing that, turning that into a winter room so that in the wintertime, my gardening season won't totally end. Excuse me, I'm sorry. In the wintertime, I'm hoping to be able to grow some lettuces, some carrots, some onions, little things like that, that'll just kind of keep you going into the salad greens all winter. But not only that, it keeps you active in gardening all winter rather than having to sit inside and stagnate while the snow falls. So, okay, and the side bed refurbish, yes, we've already mentioned that. So, okay, that's today's show, folks. Thank you so much for joining. And if you missed it live, you can see it on my YouTube channel. That is Elaine's Gardening and Cooking channel on YouTube. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us. You take care. Remember, every day we're getting closer to spring. Happy gardening. Bye-bye.